Welcome to Sister Talk TV show. Thank you all for tuning in this glorious afternoon. I hear it's really, really nice out there. I was here earlier today when it was like 55 degrees, so I don't know what the weather is, but I hear that it is nice. But we have some hot, controversial topics. And I want you all, as usual, to join in. 212-757-1393, 212-757-1393. You're watching Sister Talk TV show, and I am your host, Dietrich Elsie. Before we get into that, I want to introduce my guests. All the way to my right is Douthie Mullen. She's a regular here, very good songstress. How you doing, Douthie?
Great day today, Dietrich.
It's a great day, it is, isn't it? And my sister friend, Cynthia TURNQUEST-JONES. I love that name. That's like an action-packed name. Our newcomer sister friend is Monica Harris. All you all are educators, teachers, advocates and activists, but we're going to hit right into the topic of the abortion ban, or should I say the fetal heart abortion. But we're going to watch this video and we will be right back.
On the steps of the Supreme Court today, abortion rights activists grab back the megaphone.
My body, my choice!
Women should have the right to do with their bodies what they want to do with their bodies.
Hundreds of protesters were joined by Democrats looking for votes in 2020.
We will not go back!
Demonstrations organized in cities nationwide, triggered after a wave of restrictive abortion laws passed in multiple states.
Should a child, a life inside a mother's womb, be killed due to the actions of its parents?
Abortion care is safe and still legal in all 50 states.
But that message may not be getting through.
I've seen patients that are already scheduled for their procedures calling in, asking whether or not they're going to be able to access care.
Katie Caldwell is the coordinator at an abortion clinic in New Orleans, one of 3 in Louisiana.
You don't do a lot of interviews.
No, I don't.
Why?
Personal security reasons, but I think that now is kind of a tipping point. And so because I'm able to, I will visibly and vocally advocate for this.
There's a large group of people in this country who believe life starts at conception and the taking of that life is murder. Why isn't that the case?
That's a difficult question to answer. Everyone's entitled to their beliefs. They are not entitled to infringe upon other people's bodily autonomy.
At the Louisiana Capitol,
we believe the babies in the room are worth having the same opportunity to live as all of you.
A state law banning abortions as early as 6 weeks into pregnancy is likely just days away from being passed. Stephanie Gosk, NBC News, New Orleans.
Yes, we're back. Again, you're watching Sister Talk TV show, and we're talking about the abortion ban that's sweeping the nation. It seems like every state is taking this stance against having an abortion. At 6 weeks, if you hear a heartbeat, that's when you can't have abortion. That's what they're trying to do. So let's just jump in, okay? What do you all think about this?
I think it's wrong.
You think it's wrong?
I think it's absolutely wrong. People's beliefs are personal, as the woman stated, but when you are using your moral compass to impose an action on someone else's body, where are we going with this? That's power and control. We have to be able to have agency over our bodies. And I think people are not looking at it so much as a human rights issue. They're looking at it as a gender rights issue. But if we allow this, where are we going? What standard is this setting?
Go ahead.
So you control the woman, then you control the world. Yeah.
Okay.
It's powerful.
It's a choice that you have, and it's an understanding. It always say that, you know, behind every strong black man is a strong black woman, right? So women are very powerful. You control women, then you will then control the world. And so with something like this coming through is in controlling the woman as to what they can and cannot do, right? So you have an individual by the name of Hugh Hefner. Hugh Hefner fought for pro-choice before Planned Parenthood started fighting for pro-choice.
Let's tell who Hugh Hefner is.
So Hugh Hefner,
some of us
okay, so Hugh Hefner is the founder of Playboy magazine and Playboy Mansion and things of that nature. So before Planned Parenthood started to fight in regards to inadequate abortions, right? Because individuals were going to get abortions and dying because they were going to little holes in the walls and basements and things of that nature, right? And Hugh started to fight, I think it was like maybe 1953, 1956, I might be off with the dates, but he started to fight before Planned Parenthood started to fight and say that, you know, it's horrible that it's illegal that women cannot do what they want to do, and then the places that they go to get this done, women are ending up dead. So, do you have anything to say about that, Dalphie?
Of course. Absolutely. I find it's amazing to me that a jury of 24 old white men can take authority over a woman's body.
Well, you know, the governor was Alabama, a white woman. She signed it.
Yeah, but she can't even have babies. She's so old. But I got that from a student who rocked it out on Instagram. To my students on Instagram who speak their mind.
Right.
They say, here we have an individual who cannot even have babies anymore, making a choice. Right? But again,
taking a choice.
Right? And so again, you control the woman, you control the world.
Well, okay, let's look at this. I like what the interviewer said on the video. She said, life begins at there are some who believe, and I do, that life begins at inception. And if you're going to take a baby out of a womb, isn't that murder? Isn't that killing somebody?
It really depends on where your beliefs are.
Okay.
Because some people believe it is and some people don't. But I think it's wrong to impose what you believe on somebody else's body, on somebody else's choice. And they're saying, well, God said this and God said that. And being a person, you know, raised in a Christian church, you know, I have my own set of beliefs. But what about the person who doesn't believe that? How do you choose for them?
So what I'm trying to get from you all, do you all agree that life begins in the womb, in the inception?
I believe in choice.
Yes.
So you don't believe, okay.
I believe in a choice. You have a choice to do what you want to do.
With your body.
With your body. You have a choice.
So, okay, with another life, that's what I'm asking.
Yes,
with
you do.
another life in your body, you have a choice.
You have a choice.
Because the life wouldn't exist if it wasn't in my body.
Right.
The Buddhists believe that when a child is conceived, if the child does not make it to full term and is not born, that the child's spirit is recycled. So I think it kind of like is kind of a little blurry. Spirits don't die. I don't believe that. I think that when death comes, it frees a body, a spirit from a body that can no longer serve it. So going with that belief, right? I'm not necessarily Buddhist, but I understand these principles that the life would be recycled and come back at another time that would be better served for that spirit.
212-757-1393. 212-757-1393. Love to hear your thoughts on this. The abortion ban that is sweeping the nation, even going outside the nation. Also, I hear in someplace in Europe, they're protesting. Women are protesting in the streets. Poland, right? There's my body. You can't tell me what to do. It's all about control. What do you think? Again, 212-757-1393. You know what was so, I guess, interesting in that video? I didn't see no black folk. I didn't really see no women of color.
Well, the statistics show that the majority of individuals who do get abortion are white.
Oh, do they?
There is a heavy percentage. It's a heavy percentage of white women that get abortions, and there's a heavy percentage of white children who are in foster care. So, media plays a mean role in regards to having individuals feel as though that blacks in particular are the ones that are killing and not taking care of their children and not abiding by the way that we should abide by. Meanwhile, when you look at the statistics and you look at the percentages of those on welfare are white, the percentages of those who abort are white, and the percentages of those who are in foster care are white.
But isn't there a high percentage of black women having abortions? Like we're 13% of the population, I believe, 13, maybe 14. But we're having like 33% of abortions. And I think that's a high number, again, when we're just 13% of the population. Do you think that these places that, okay, let me one question at a time. That was my first. Do you think that, you know, what was that question? That, you know, women, my comment, women, black women are having a lot of abortion. Do you think they are pushed to having abortions?
I don't think
the numbers are staggering to me.
I don't think that based on my journey, how's that?
Okay.
Being in the foster care system, working in the foster care system, working in the school system. I don't see black females, because I cannot just say women, because we also have our girls.
Absolutely.
I don't see them at an alarming rate having abortions.
Okay. Okay.
I haven't seen that.
I think though that the media and just society would like to perpetuate that image of black women having abortions and black women, you know, not taking care of their kids or not responsible for their own reproductive, you know, choices. And I also know that, you know, when we have Planned Parenthood and different places that provide these services, they they put them in our communities.
Why?
They
put them in our communities so that those who came to get the services wouldn't be seen in their community. You got it?
I heard that, yeah. I got it.
Are you with me? Like, right?
Yeah, but who's having those abortions in our community?
Listen, where do they, so I live in Mount Vernon, New York, right? And in Mount Vernon, we have a rehab. We have Planned Parenthood as well. But in particular, we have a methadone rehabilitation. The majority of the individuals are coming from upstate, coming off the train, and the majority of them that's in there are white.
Okay, let's take this phone call.
Okay.
Caller, you watching Sister Talk TV show. Say hello to my guests, and what do you have to say or ask about this abortion ban?
Yeah, hello.
Hello?
I know one of the yes, hi, can you hear me?
Okay, the speaker is very low. That's right, yeah, good ears. The speaker here is
Can you hear me now?
Yes, certainly can. How you doing?
I'm fine, and yourself?
I'm doing great.
Well, I know one of the big abortion clinics in Manhattan is on 33rd Street. That's Manhattan, though. Anyway, there was one in my neighborhood years ago, and that's pathetic. Here in East Harlem, so that the women picketed it and got rid of it. But just think of all the babies that was murdered in there. It's probably ridiculous. But anyway, like, you know, I believe in pro-choice too, but the fact that black people, we don't see ourselves, well, I won't even say black. I'm not even going to start calling myself black anymore. I'm African. Black is a crayon. So that's a whole other aspect that I won't get into. That's just how I feel about it. But as far as abortion, people should be able to choose what they want, but because Africans here in America, we're not on the same page. Everybody's individually moving, and then the churches divide us a lot with how we think. So we're not thinking African. We're not thinking nation and Pan-Africanism. We're not thinking that way. So as far as our babies being murdered through abortion, I don't think it really matters to us, because if it did, I'm not negating all of the people that's protesting, that's fighting for our safety and all this kind of thing here. So I'm not trying to dog those people out. But I'm just saying, with all these police killings and shooting that Texas sister in her face and all this kind of garbage, we gonna have to figure out. Thank God we got a sister talk. Thank God we got a NAN and different things, because it's just getting ridiculous out here. We're gonna have to come together and figure out how we're going to survive, because we cannot continue going like this. Abortion, if you want to kill up your babies or whatever and have your abortion, that's your business. I know abortion is a matter of choice. And these fools in Alabama that's telling these women what they can do, a lot of those clinics, Sister Deisha, a lot of those clinics provide GYN, not just abortion services, from what I understand. A lot of, in different states, like here in New York, there's more, we have more availability to services, but in other states, they don't have the same services we have.
Okay, so thank you with that comment, because we have to move on to another topic. Thank you so much. But what do you all think about her comment?
So she said that okay, so then there's more to it than meets the eye. Right. So then she stipulated that, the caller stipulated that in New York, our services are different from the services that are in Alabama.
I don't think so. I think they're basically the same.
You think it's the same?
I think it's basically the same. One thing I do have to say about Planned Parenthood and all these other organizations, they do other things than perform abortion. Yes. And from what I understand, they say that abortion has gone down. That's what they say, but I don't know.
What I know is that, so if abortion has went down, also birth rates have went down tremendously. Tremendously,
yes.
So individuals, when this first came out, you had other individuals stipulating that birth rates were at a low.
Yeah.
And so this may be the
way to get. Okay, let's say, you know, these white guys that are in office, they're seeing that their mates are not having babies and their race is declining. So they want to just ban abortion so they can populate their race. That's what is being said out there.
I've heard that.
And do you believe that? You just think it's control?
I think that there is a reason why we're revisiting this topic now. I think there's a reason why they're trying to institute this now. If you look at where we have been historically as women of color, and the progression that has been made, it's almost like creating this conflict because, as you see, some of us agree with it, some of us don't. Creates chaos and is almost a distraction to the forward progression that we have been continuing to make. And typically, you don't divide and conquer, you conquer the divided. So I think—
What do you mean when you say you conquer the divided?
I mean, when people are at opposing forces and the government wants to institute things, we'll be so busy bickering and fighting each other that they're doing what they want to do while we're doing that. So I think we need to look at it more as I said originally, the human agency over our lives. The freedom to be able to make choices rather than something being imposed. For those that do not agree with it, then I absolutely agree that that's not for you. But I don't think because individuals believe that should be imposed on someone else and it should be written as law. That's something else. That's taking away your free agency.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay, I could see what you're saying.
Did you say the divide and conquer thing?
I like that too. Yeah.
We don't divide and conquer. We conquer the divided. That's what's happened historically.
So it's basically respecting each other's opinion.
Yeah. So that I mean, ultimately, this is going to impact the human race.
Right. Okay.
One way or another. And if we look at it as something that we need to have these conversations, we need to have these type of discussions in order to come to an agreement where I don't want my choices to hurt or harm you. And I certainly don't want yours to hurt or harm me.
212-757-1393. 212-757-1393. Call in with questions or comments. But I first want to say, although I'm not really pro-choice or right to life, what have you, I do believe everybody has a choice. But I also have a concern about the numbers of black women and young women or girls having abortions. I think there can be some type of other alternative. And I also want to make very clear, I'm not trying to make anybody feel bad that has had an abortion and regret it and make you feel much worse. You know, that was your choice, and I believe it's a personal choice. I'm not one of these people that's going to go out hurrah for abortion or shout out for abortion that was going around for a little while. So it's a crazy topic. It's can be emotional, but we're going to respect each other's opinion up in here. 212-757-1393. 212-757-1393. So let's talk about the heartbeat. 6 weeks, you know, that's something else, because some people don't, some women don't even know that they're pregnant at 6 weeks. You know, and now that the machines are becoming so sophisticated, you probably can detect a heartbeat in 4 weeks, 3 weeks.
It's very emotional.
Yes.
And I think it's very important not to make permanent decisions based on temporary emotions. It doesn't matter what it is, because we're talking about long term. With regard to your comments about in our community and younger women, I think the answer is preventative measures. I think it's intervention, and I think it's more of a discussion and more services and more education about the relationship with self and how we engage and having relationships with others.
Well, why do women would have abortions? Let's talk about that, because from what I understand, that when you're about to make that decision, this is what I read, correct me if I'm wrong, they don't ask you why you're doing it.
I just had that conversation the other day. I think we do need to pull that information, because it's information, right? And it also helps us build capacity on that to help people before they get to those points and places. I don't know what the stats are, what the numbers are, and what's being said about that, but we can guess. Sometimes it's economic, sometimes...
And that's an issue right there, but go ahead.
Yeah, I think also sometimes it's sometimes secrets. I mean, in having this conversation, I met 2 people. One was a male and one was a female. The male was younger and the woman was older, that said they didn't even know their father. You understand what I'm saying? So secrets, unexpected births that need to, in order to keep the container of people's lives, remain secrets as though they never occurred. So there's a lot of reasons. Sometimes it's young, too young, but I think with the way it's been revisited and talking about, you know, a woman being raped, being forced to have a baby.
That's pretty bad.
That is punitive.
Carly, watch a Sister Talk TV show. What's your name and where you calling from? Hello?
Hello, this is Diane.
Hi, Diane. How are you doing? Is this?
I'm good. I'm good.
Is this the Diane?
Yes, it is.
Okay, can I say where I know the Diane from?
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah, the Diane is a historian at Mother Zion Episcopal Church in Harlem. Is one of the oldest African American church in Harlem, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So what do you have to say to us, Diane?
Well, I do think, you know, this is a difficult decision, but I do agree with your panelists that it is a woman's right to choose. And it's a difficult decision. And as you say, life does begin with conception, and we all know that, because something dead can't be born alive. But we still think that it's a difficult subject, and it's and I don't think that the government, we have this right for 50 years. How can we go backwards? So what's available to us will not be available to our children and our grandchildren. It's a difficult choice. And safe abortions, the rich will always have access. This will impact poor women.
Poor women.
Absolutely.
Okay, people have to understand this. Rich women or people who have access,
privilege,
who have, their doctors will perform it for them. Don't get it twisted. The poor people will not be able to get safe abortions, and that's the issue. I work in a hospital, and you have patients who will come in there who will be bleeding. You're going to force them back into the back alleys, taking all kinds of drugs to bring on miscarriages. That's not. We can't go back there.
Okay.
And surely education, preventative measures is what we would want our young people and even our older people to have access to. But it's a choice. And men cannot legislate for us.
Okay, thank you, Diane. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, she has
That's
a point
exactly what they did, though. They did legislate. Men did legislate.
Yes.
To take that choice from us.
Yeah, and let's talk about the economic situation. Do you think that there would be less abortions if there was, if poor women weren't poor? You see what I'm saying? It appears that they're making this decision because of economics.
I think that their choices, if poverty was not a factor, which oftentimes it is, which may coerce a woman into that decision, we need to have more equity.
Yeah.
I mean, just all the way around.
We'll be right back after this video.
Coming at us.
In Texas, a panhandle twister popping power lines.
Very large tornado here.
The most destructive hitting Jefferson City, Missouri on Wednesday.
We're trying to get the video together, but until then, we're going to continue to talk about it. Like I said, for every 1,000 live births, non-Hispanic black women has had 391 abortions. Non-Hispanic white women had 120 abortions per 1,000 live births. And you do make a point. The caller made a point about these people come in and they have abortions. These white people come in, the people with money, they have abortions, and it's not recorded.
It's not documented.
Right. It's not recorded. So we don't know. We really don't know.
Because if you're rich, you can have an abortion in secret and nobody will ever know.
It's
but if
privilege.
you're poor, you're going to be
Again, the
documented.
scales of power and control. And who, first of all, the law protects some while it harms others. We see this all the time, especially in our community, particularly with policing. But if you're creating this legislation, again, it's going to impact most the marginalized people.
Okay, now the video is ready. We'll be right back.
In their counties, I mean across the board, and it concerns me because I believe that women should be able to have open access to their rights and exercise their rights to their reproductive health.
So what's
health.
So what do you think? What's behind that? Cutting that? Is that?
I hate to say that. I think it's a backlash to patriarchy. You know, we had really during the campaign some ridiculous, very, very conservative responses to women's rights just around the ideas of abortion. I mean, about pregnancy, about women's health, that, you know, some of these men were discussing, you know, based on complete error and fabrication. And I got to the point where I felt like, you know what? What's good for the goose is good for the gander. I think Viagra should only be available to be sold in a center where women have complete access to all of their reproductive health needs.
You know something, that's a good point there, because Viagra is supposed to stimulate the sexual organs and so forth, whereas birth control is supposed to prevent pregnancies, and we have to go to the doctor to get prescribed and so forth. But nobody knows, when Viagra first came out, people were having heart attacks. Men were having heart attacks. I mean, I think that's good enough.
It wasn't even, that was not even its primary use.
I know.
Yeah. But, you know, we women are the ones who have to carry a child, and if we don't have access two ways of controlling our bodies and helping our bodies and nurturing our bodies, how can we be good members of society? How can we be good mothers if we are overwhelmed by caretaking? I mean, there are people who are abandoning babies every single day. I mean, these poor children, you know, are not being taken care of, and there are some groups that want to keep women from being able to prevent pregnancy, even in the light of their not being able to take care of a child.
So what is your concern? Is it the reproductive health or the abortion? Not your concern, but the concern overall.
My concern comes from a very personal experience. I had to have an abortion. And it was during a time when they were illegal.
Oh, wow.
And it was, all right, I told you, I'm from the antediluvian age. And what I see is there is a march back towards that kind of feeling in the country, or it's trying to be pushed. A woman should not have to be blindfolded and spirited away and be in some place where her health might be in danger from having a simple procedure at an early enough time for her to be able to not have the fetus remain in her.
Okay, since we have someone who experienced that time when abortion was illegal, could you just give us a brief description of that experience for us?
It was a nightmare, but the only reason it was a nightmare, Deetra, and it goes back to something we were talking about earlier in the show around the hypocrisy in religion. My religious teaching prohibited even discussion of birth control.
What was your religion?
Catholicism. I grew up Catholic, even though in my neighborhood there were other Protestant churches. I grew up Catholic, and the ban on even discussing it, I mean, it was a sin to even know about it. When you are a young person growing up and you have hormones that can be overwhelming for you, you know, pushing you to express yourself, and you can't even know about something as simple as a condom, or you know, just even thinking about that, you're told is a sin. And then when you are in the situation of as what they would call an occasion of sin, if you went in and got something to keep you from being pregnant, you've already committed a sin. So going through with it because of the overwhelming situation or the circumstances leaves you with a 14-year-old, a 15-year-old, or a 16-year-old.
Wow, that video was done about 3-4 years ago.
Wow,
really? Yeah, the person's name was Rhonda Handsome. She's a comedian, very good person. She's a regular on Sister Talk also, and she couldn't make it today because she definitely wanted to say something about that. But she talked about having, as we heard, abortion at 14 years old, and she is Catholic. So it's like, damn if you do and damn if you don't, you know, as far as prevention and doing it. So I thought that was very brave of her to say that. And I'm going to throw it out there. I've never had an abortion, you know, so I don't know that. I mean, I thought I was at that time, you know, when I was very young. Oh, Lord, what am I going to do, you know? But, you know, the panic and you're scared and you're lonely, I know that feeling, you know. But I thought that was very brave of her to come out. What do you all think?
One of the things that she noted that needs to be understood was that at the time when she got it, it was illegal.
Right. And that's the one. That's my only concern about this.
You know, did you know that barbershops? You know that circle that they show with the barbershop with the red, white, and blue. That is supposed to be like barbershops were places where individuals went to get abortions. And once they had one of those that pole at their barbershop, then that barber can perform different things on you. Yes. And barbers used to do abortions in their basements.
Well, that's the only concern I have with these legislators doing this, is that I don't want to see any of my sisters or women or what have you go through that. That's because that's the only way.
Everything is like everything becomes like such an extreme, right? So you have like just like side note, you have the legalization of marijuana. right? Because they were locking up so many individuals over marijuana,
Right,
medicinal, et cetera, and so forth. And then you have children that are coming to school high as a kite every morning, 8 a.m., blazed. Right? So things become extreme.
Right.
So the part in regards to you cannot perform an abortion and then you cut wick, right? Women, infant, and child. You don't want to feed them.
You don't want to give them any.
You don't want to give them any. You don't want to
assistance.
give them any assistance.
But they have to.
You're
be
talking
there.
about murdering. You see the school systems. Children who cannot read. That's murder.
So, Dorothy, you're being an educator. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I find the whole situation very hypocritical because these same states, Alabama, Georgia, places in parts of Texas, they all have the death penalty.
Wow. Wow.
They're executing people. So where's the right to life for those?
It was hanging people. It was
still
hanging
lynching
individuals.
people.
They down with the Klan. They didn't care about life when they was down with while the Klan was in existence.
They are. I can get with that. I can get with that.
I'd like to add something to that. And please be very clear. There is a distinction between a criminal and a prisoner.
Okay.
And not everyone that is in jail
is guilty.
Is a criminal.
That's right.
But is a prisoner. So
But
we
you
have
can
to
still be
really
executed.
consider exactly as a prisoner. That's very scary.
Yes.
212-757-1393. 212-757-1393. You know, I want to hear your thoughts.
And just like to piggyback off what she said, in Alabama, you can walk in and walk back out with a gun. Their gun laws are horrible. My brother said he went to purchase a gun. When he came out of the gun show, they were selling guns out of the back trunk like how you sell ice cream out of an ice cream truck.
Recently?
Yes.
Wow.
That's the bloody
when you sit down and look at the gun laws in particular, you will see the disparity, especially in places like Alabama and Mississippi. Once you cross that Mason-Dixon line.
Absolutely.
I want to ask you all this. Have you all ever experienced someone that had an abortion or
Plenty of times.
or you know, I said that about myself, but yeah, have you all experienced
Plenty of
it?
times.
Yes, me too. Plenty of times.
Can't, like she said, secrets, messing with somebody else, man. Shouldn't have been messing with somebody else, man. All kind of stuff. You know, just
but
all
you know,
kind of
many
crazy.
Rape, molestation.
Molestation.
Yeah.
Right? And let's talk about girls being raped. The rape culture of girls.
Well, you know, even
18
President
and younger, it is ridiculous.
This is domestic violence.
But you know, even President Trump even said that was pretty extreme. You know, I had to, he did say that. And I was kind of, he said it was pretty extreme what they're doing with this abortion law, the fetal. He said he was opposed to it when it comes to, well, he was for it when it comes to rape, incest, and all that, you know. So I was surprised he even said that, you know. So I can get with that.
If it came under his radar, then maybe we really need to look at it again, right?
Somebody said that, but I had to acknowledge that he said that.
Well, thank you. Thank you for doing that.
You know, you have sex trafficking, you have prostitution, you have, you know, there's a gamut. The list is very long, right? And so we know that our girls are preyed upon,
you know,
at a level of ridiculousness.
Right. Right.
We know that. The white women know that too.
Right.
Because it's not just happening in the black community. I mean, we can talk about it in our black community because this is where we live, right? Which is a hush type of thing.
Let me ask you all this. Yeah, it is that. Let me ask you all this. In the beginning, you said that this is about control because women have gone so far. And so, you know, and I always thought that. I said, you know, they're scheming right now. You know, with this hashtag Me Too, which that's another thing I'm not crazy about, but another show. But anyway, you know, I said, you know, these guys are sitting back saying, we got to get our manhood back. You know, I really feel that way. They're sitting back saying, how are we going to do that? Aha! We're going to tell them what to do with their body.
Mm-hmm. Not preventative, like Sister Monica stipulated, not increasing education, not talking about it, putting individuals in schools who children feel safe to have conversations with, right? Where you have a student who is missing, and you say to yourself, what happened to that student? And the next thing you know, that child is a 13-year-old with an infant.
With an infant.
So what do you all think about that? I mean, Dalphie, about these teenagers having babies or getting aborted?
I think that, you know, at that age, how is somebody at that age in this society even equipped to manage
What if the
parenthood?
teenager wanted the baby?
Well,
That's her choice,
There's
right?
support.
Yeah.
If she has
You're
support.
right about that. That's a problem. When you
If she
have
has support.
teenagers at that age that want a baby, they're looking for love.
Okay.
They're looking for someone to love because
Right.
there's some kind of interruption that went on.
Okay, but yeah, I hear what
I know
you're
you
saying,
know
but what
children
if
who do that on purpose.
Yes, I know
because they
that.
want somebody
I know
to
to
that.
love? But what if they did have that? Yeah, I'm keeping this baby because I want somebody to love me for who I am.
So then,
Well,
Even if
So
she makes the
they have a
choice.
choice. They
have
make a choice.
They
right?
they have a choice, and you can support that choice. I have no problem. I mean, at first I used to be right. Oh, you have no idea.
Right.
And I would look at you cross-eyed, but
At least
I
you
have
had
to
a
support you.
choice.
we have to meet people where they're at.
Right.
Otherwise, we're not regarding individuals. And when it comes to a young person making the choice to become a young mother, I was a young mother.
Were you forced to
absolutely-
become a young
No,
mother? Okay.
No, I wasn't. We need to, as we've done historically in our communities, just rally around
them.
these children and spend time, invest money on creating sanctuaries, for lack of a better expression,
For women.
that can help foster.
Okay, we're talking about women and all that. 212-757-1393. This is for you guys out there, the brothers out there. 212-757-1393. What about the man's role? And I say this because I came across an article. Reggie Bush, the football player.
Yeah.
You heard about him? He paid his mistress. I think this happened a couple of years ago. He paid his mistress $3 million to abort the baby. I guess she said yeah, and his wife knew about it too. And I guess she said yeah, she took the money, but she didn't have the baby. I mean, she didn't get the abortion, but she had the baby. You know.
She took the money and had the baby?
Yeah, she took the money and had the baby. You know, what about the man's decision?
I think, first of all, I think that when we're talking about creating containers to protect life, there's so many men that walk away from children.
Right, but there are a lot that don't. You know, I personally know that in my family.
Yeah,
you know?
so do I. My parents were married for 57 years, but what I'm saying with regard in the relativeness of this discussion, we're talking about imposing something and punishing women. Let's stick with the rape aspect.
Okay.
When men walk away from families, from children all the time.
I hear what you're saying, but what I'm talking about right now is what about the man's input? Does he have a say?
Over what?
Does he have a say?
No, over what a woman's body. Mine either.
It takes two to make one.
That's right.
It
and
does.
why does
2
the woman
plus
have
2
to be
equals 1 in
penalized?
this
Yes, so the
decision.
woman's punished and the man just, even the way they're looking at it, the lens in which it's being looked at, there's no accountability in these circumstances for the men. The woman carries the seed, right? How the old people used to say, mama's baby, papa's maybe. It's still, even within that, say that again, I'm sorry.
I remember that expression.
Remember that expression, right?
Mama's baby, papa's baby.
And it simply means, for those that's never heard, is that a woman can never deny a child that came from her womb.
Yes.
While again, a man can walk
say,
away.
That's not my baby.
Can say that's not my baby.
Okay.
And just walk away with no accountability.
212-757-1393. You're watching Sister Talk TV show, and yes, we're talking about this abortion ban that's pretty much sweeping the country. Yeah. I want you all to get to know Sister Talk TV show's guests. Monica.
Hi. Yes, I am a transformative leader, a survivor. I go out, I do speaking engagements and workshops around domestic violence and trauma, and I also am an activist. Go up to Albany all the time fighting for women's rights.
Okay, wow, that's great. Now, Cynthia, I know that you're an activist and you're out there just doing your thing. What's happening right now?
So right now we have a little boy who was crossing the street in Mount Vernon, and he was hit by a car, and unfortunately he died.
How old was he?
His name is Drew, 11 years old.
Okay.
So he went to Graham Elementary School, and one of the major concerns in regards to the community in Mount Vernon is the fact that there aren't any markers on the streets, as well as specific types of signs.
Right.
So, you know, individuals are going to the community council and talking to them and letting them know, hey, listen, this is, first of all, this is around the school, right? And we need to make sure that our children are safe. We need to make sure that everybody is safe. But in particular, you know, this cannot happen again. Not on our watch. So we have to make sure that we put in place what needs to be put in place, such as street markers. Those are the lines that are supposed to be there.
To make sure everything is okay.
Right, that's one. And then the other thing is that in those areas, the speed limit should depreciate.
Absolutely. And that's what happens in our community a lot. But it's too bad that this young man had to make the sacrifice for this to happen. Douthie, songstress, what's happening with you? You're an educator. How's your son?
He's wonderful. Handsome as anything.
So we have you been singing. Such a lovely voice.
Yes, I know you still have that clip of me on your show before.
Yeah.
So currently I work for the New York City Early Intervention Program.
Okay.
I'm an official designee for that agency. And it's a program that provides therapeutic services for children with special needs from birth to 3.
Wow, that's a special teacher to do that.
It's a great job.
Well, you have Tim Murphy. He's a congressperson. He's a Republican. He was forced to resign. And I'm picking back off what you're saying, because he asked his mistress to have an abortion. So you have a point there. It's not so much about having babies. It's about control.
Power and control.
Power and control.
It is. Once you control the woman, then you will control the world. If you look at, it's not on anymore. There was a series. It was like 12 Years a Slave series.
Running on PBS or something like that?
It wasn't on PBS. It was on...
I forgot.
I forgot. But they showed how once the woman was controlled, then the rest of the black male slaves conducted themselves in a different way.
Almost like the Willie Lynch way of controlling people and breaking slaves.
Yeah.
So that's what they're doing now.
Right.
Again,
so
I mean,
putting drugs in the community, because we talk about that, putting drugs in the community, but making sure that the women were getting hooked.
I apologize. I started out saying that, you know, it's traumatizing even to revisit these discussions. On the interview, the nurse or the person from the clinic said that people are calling in, am I still going to be able, because just the conversation is creating something. It's impactful with fear, and power and control has a lot to do with fear. Has a lot to do with instilling fear. So I would always have full agency over my body. I'm not gonna allow anyone to impose anything. I had a very difficult time with my menses. I used to bleed out to the point where I had to get blood transfusions. Every time, and it was because of a fibroid, every time I went into the hospital, I would ask them to take the fibroid away. They said no.
Hysterectomy.
Let me take your uterus. And I said no. I said to the doctor, and excuse my saying so.
And it goes towards black women more than anything.
Yes.
Go ahead.
I would say to the doctor, listen, when they would push and push, I said, listen, you have a penis. If you had a lump on your penis and the doctor said to you, I want to take your shaft, I want to take your testicles, and I'm going to take the lump, you don't want to have a different conversation. That's the conversation we're going to have. Other than that, please leave my room. But I'm a patient, and I'm having to fight for my right to keep my womb. You can have the fibroid, but you're not having my womb. So
see, that, you know, that's my point with the pro-choice and these liberal people and all that. I could say I'm leaning towards pro-choice, but I just don't like what I'm seeing. You know, I feel that again, you go to the hospital for a fibroid, they want to take your whole womb. You go, and I feel like these organizations that do these abortions, I think that they don't give you alternatives. I don't think so. Not from what I know.
So you're saying it should be more counseling and
I think
more
it should
support.
be, yeah, I think it should be more counseling, more support. Why are they doing this?
I agree with you. I do agree with you with regard to that. Or a young person that I went with not too long ago said very specifically that she felt very alone when she was told that no one could go with her right before the procedure, and there was not enough counseling after.
Okay. We have a phone call. Caller, you watch the Sister Talk TV show. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, my name is Kirk. I'm calling from New York City.
Hi.
And I just want to say, keep up the good work.
Thank you.
You guys are really talking about a specific topic, but be aware. These people are really out to continue to oppress women.
Okay.
And not only by gender, but also by color, by, you know, it's awful.
Yes.
So continue talking about it. I think, thank you for, you know, opening my eyes what you're experiencing. And as a man, I'm a gay male, so I'm not looking to have, you know, that's not going to be an issue for me.
Okay.
Other than to be prepared to accept and adopt people's kids who they do this without any thought. They give away your rights, and I think be careful. Be careful, and thank you for talking about it.
Thank you so much.
And I like you use the word oppress.
Yes. Yeah.
And he was on point with the word.
From a man.
Right.
And from a man.
Right.
Trying to oppress. And he said, be careful.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because it's really, and I'm so glad that the caller called in, particularly as a male, that he openly shared that he was gay, because this is really a human rights issue. If we allow them to impose this upon women, what is next? We're changing the moral compass based on other people, and that's not okay. That's not okay.
You know, I do like what the caller said about be careful, be aware. Like I said in the beginning, you all know how I feel about it in the beginning. My only concern is that I don't want to see my sisters going to the barbershop to get an abortion with dirty equipment and all that. That's my concern. I do believe that there should be more counseling. I do believe that we should really talk to them and ask the question, why? You know, so we can prevent that. I do believe that it's a part of when life, when the sperm meets the egg, that's life. I believe that, heartbeat or not. I do believe that. But you're right. You can't let people tell you what to do with your body. I do believe it's a decision between you, your mate, and God.
Your maker.
Yeah, and that's so powerful. I agree with you about that, and I don't like that people are playing the moral compass and the speaking voice of God. Religion, spirituality is a personal understanding and relationship with your Creator, and the way you actualize that in your life is up to the individual.
And then like to talk about like morals, right? So these are the same individuals who have a problem when a woman have to go and get services in order to care for her children.
Right.
These are the same. These are the same individuals.
Right.
The same
Exactly.
individuals. Where's your morals at now?
Right.
These are the same individuals that have a problem when individuals are trying to come over the border and want to separate children from their parents. These are the same individuals.
And they're getting raped.
So you have moral children.
The children.
You care about the children now? Do you care about the children?
Yeah.
No, you only care about those children, not those other children.
Okay.
Not the children that
the
look like
show's
my children.
closing up. Sorry, the show's closed. But I do want to acknowledge billionaire Robert F. Smith.
Oh.
Yes, we have to talk about that just for a minute
awesome.
because we're about to close. We really got really involved in this conversation, this abortion conversation, which was much needed. But billionaire Robert F. Smith, he's creating a $40 million grant to erase the student debt for the graduating class of Morehouse 2019. As he said, this class is mine.
That's right. That's amazing.
Amazing,
That's
unbelievable.
amazing. He's
And
putting
now,
his money
where his mouth is. Yes, he's
investing
in
our future. That's going to impact for generations.
Generations.
And people don't understand the context and the scope of what he did, the magnitude of that, and it's not celebrated enough.
And that's another form of control too, student loan debt.
Exactly.
Yeah, it is.
Yes.
Hey, you know, we're going to have to close the show up, but
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. If you could say this in 30 minutes, all three of you all, what do you do? You know, tell me just a little bit, like in 15, 20 seconds.
What I do? Okay, I am a transformative leader, a domestic violence survivor. I go out and I educate people about trauma.
Okay. You're an activist, an educator, and they've been on the show before, okay? Yeah, I just want to give my shout out to Zaki. I want to give my shout out to the crew for coming here this weekend to do the show. Give my shout out to Rhonda and Stanley, and I hope I didn't forget anybody in the control room, okay? Again, thank you all for taking time out for the cookout. And looking at us on your mobile phone and calling in. You know, we come on every Saturday at 2 o'clock to 3 o'clock p.m. live. You and Star Davis, they came out to me and said, I forgot Star Davis. Star Davis, the tech all the way round girl. Thank you, Star. We like us on Facebook, Sister Talk TV show. Hit the thumbs up, Kelsey Productions 1. And again, this is Dietrich Kelsey. And as always, I'm wishing you peace, love, and remember to stay in the light.
Sister Talk.